Assalamualaikum and hi everyone, we are from the group 3. Today we are going to talk about the definition, factor and determinants of the money supply.
My name is Siti Rabiatul Adawiyah binti Johari from AE07. My metric number is D2020-109-2534.
This is our website for money supply topic. If you click on this page, you will see the definition of determinants of money supply. Definition is, the supply of money is a stock at a particular point of time. The term of the supply of money is synonymous with such terms as money stock, money supply and quantity of money. The supply of money at any moment is the total amount of money in the economy. Money is a currency plus checkable deposits. The federal can control the monetary base better than it can control reserves. There are two alternative views regarding the definition of money supply. First, it is associated with the traditional and Keynesian thinking, which stresses the medium exchange function of money. From this view, money supply can be defined as a currency with the public and demand deposits with commercial banks. Demand deposits are savings and current accounts of depositors in commercial bank. It's a liquid form of money because the depositors can draw check for any amount and the bank has to make immediate payment on demand. Demand deposits with commercial banks plus currency with the public denoted as M1, which is the money supply. Second, it is associated with modern quantity theories by Professor Friedman. He defines money supply at any moment of time as the number of dollars people are carrying around in their pockets, the number of dollars they have to their credit at banks, and the number of dollars they have to their credit at banks in the form of demand deposits and commercial bank time deposits.
My name is Siti Nurnajah binti Azmi and my metric number is D2020-109-2565.
Factors that determine the money multiplier. There are three main factors and some additional factors that determine the money multiplier, which is number 1 is change in the required reserve ratio. The required reserve ratio is one of the important factors that determine the money multiplier. The meaning of the reserve ratio is the portion of reservable liabilities that commercial banks must hold on to rather than lend out or invest. Then, the required reserve ratio is also means the ratio of cash to current and time deposit liabilities, which is determined by law. It also has negatively related with the money multiplier and the money supply. For instance, if the required reserve ratio is having an increase, it will reduce the supply of money with commercial banks, while if the required reserve ratio having a decrease, the money supply will increase. A multiple increase in total demand deposit, which are an important part of money supply, are able to be created because of the fractional reserve system, with a small increase in cash reserve with the banks.
I am Donna Bihabin Mustafa Ahmad. My metric number is D2020-109-2569.
Public desire to hold currency and deposit. Total desire to hold currency or relative to deposits in commercial banks also determines the money supply. We can see that if people are in habit deposits to commercial banks, it is pretty sure that the money supply will be large. This is due to the reason that banks can provide more money with larger deposits. However, if people consist to hold cash in their hand, the credit creation will be reduction and money supply will be risky discount. Thirdly is the discount rate policy. Moreover, the discount rate policy also affects the money supply. It is because this factor influencing supply of bank credit due to the interest rate at which commercial banks borrow from the central bank. If the discount rate is high, it means that commercial banks get less amount by selling securities to the central bank. So commercial banks will raise their lending rates to the public for making advance to them. Thus, there will be contraction of credit and the level of commercial banks' reserves.
My name is Siti Amirah binti Salim. My metric
1092530.
Okay, I will explain the additional factors. Open market operations are controlled by the Federal Reserve. Money created by the Fed is monetary base, also known as high-powered money. A $1 increase in the monetary base causes the money supply to increase by more than $1. The increase in the money supply is the money multiplier. The Fed cannot determine the amount of borrowing by banks from the Fed, so split the monetary base into two components. It's turned to this equation. So from this equation, we found that the money supply is positively related to both the non-borrowed monetary base and to the level of borrowed reserve from the Fed. Next, we move to summary of money supply response. There are 4 players. First is Federal Reserve System. When required reserve ratio increase, then money supply will decrease. This is because of less multiple deposit expansion. When non-borrowed monetary base increase, then money supply will increase. This is because of more monetary base to support checkable deposits and currency. Next, when borrowed reserve increase, then money supply will increase. This is because of more monetary base to support checkable deposit and currency. Next player is depositors. When currency ratio increase, then money supply will decrease. This is because of less multiple deposit expansion. Next player is depositors and banks. When expected deposit outflows increase, then money supply will decrease. This is because of excess reserve increase, so fewer reserves to support checkable deposit. Last player is borrowers from banks and the other 3 players. When interest rate increase, then money supply will increase. This is because of excess reserve decrease, so more reserves to support checkable deposit. Next, we move to money multiplier process. This is an example. Mira deposit $1,000 cash to bank. Bank lend most of Mira's money to people who want to borrow. Means that bank give loans. Bank keep in reserve only a fraction of money. They keep in cash for the ATM or to meet withdrawal demands. So this is the process. Suppose bank keep 10% of Mira deposit, $1,000. So $1,000 multiplied with 10% equal to $100. So $100 as reserve. Bank lend most of $900 to borrower city. $900 is 9% of Mira deposit, $1,000. So $900 credit to city's account. New deposit is $1,900. It's Mira deposit, $1,000 plus city deposit, $900. So equal to $1,900. Checkable deposit is part of money supply, so money supply will increase. Next, bank keep 10% of city deposit, $900. So $900 multiplied with 10%, so equal to $90 as reserve. Bank lend out $810 to next borrower. $810 is 90% of city deposit, $900. So this process continues as bank make more loans that increase the number of deposits, which increase the number of loans, which increase the number of deposits. That's all. Thank you.
Determinants of the money supply. It is the monetary base is usually measured by the central bank, which controls the circulation of currency in the economy. It's easy to think of the monetary base as the physical money in the economy, whether it's in your wallet or the vault of a bank. So we look at the first determinants of the money supply, which is the money supply model. It defines money as a currency plus checkable deposit, which is M1. The Fed can control the monetary base better than it can control reserve, where the functions of the money supply as M, the monetary base as MB, and let small m be the money multiplier.
The equation is M equals to small m times MB. Second is deriving the money multiplier 1. It is where the money multiplier 1 can be assumed as the desired level of currency and excess reserve SER grows proportionally with checkable deposit, which SD. The equation SC equals to C per D as currency ratio and E equals to ER per D as an excess reserve ratio. And the third is the deriving the money multiplier 2. It is where the total amount of reserves is equals the sum of required reserve SRR and excess reserve which is ER. The equation we can do is R equals to RR plus ER. Then the total amount of required reserve that equals to the required reserve ratio times and the amount of checkable deposit. As in the equation is RR equals to small r times D, and third is the substitute for RR in the first equation is R equals to in bracket R times D plus ER, and the fact sets R is less than 1.
My name is Nur Nashwa binti Shahrudin. My metric number is D20T01092551. Next, we go to the deriving the money multiplier tree. The money tree base MB equals currency plus reserve. Reveal the amount of the monetary base needed to support the existing amounts of trackable deposits, currency, and excess reserve. An increase in the monetary base that goes into currency is not multiplied, whereas an increase that goes into supporting deposits is multiplied. An additional dollar of MB that goes excess reserve ER does not support any additional deposits or currency. Next is deriving the money multiplier 4. If you look at the deriving the money multiplier 2, the equation is C times D and ER times D, but it's already substituting into C equals to C times D, ER equals to E times D, and you will get MB equals to R times D plus E times D plus C times D equals to R plus E plus C times D. Divide both sides by the term in parentheses, you will get this equation. Substituting again, and you will get M equals to 1 plus C divided by R plus E plus C times MB. The money multiplier is then M equals to 1 plus C divided by R plus E plus C. Okay, for institution behind the money multiplier, for example, required reserve ratio is 0.10, currency in circulation is 400 B, trackable deposits is 800 B, excess reserve is 0.8 B, money supply C plus D is 1200. Okay, for C, 400 divided by 800, you will get 0.5. E, 0.8 divided by 800, you will get 0.001. And the last M, 1 plus 0.5, this one, divide by 0.1, this one, plus 0.01, this one, 0.5, this one, you will get 1.5, divide by 0.6.1, you will get 2.5. This is less than the simple deposits multiplier. Although there is multiple expansion of deposits, there is no such expansion for currency.